They wrote a woman held over a 20th floor hotel balcony, a chicken bag with a chorus scribbled on it, and a lullaby hummed to a 1-year-old who grew up to be a TV star. These are not footnotes in music history. They are the real, documented, jaw-dropping origin stories behind 10 R&B records that defined the 1970s, and somehow still don't get the respect they earned. Every name on this list sold 1 million copies. Every name on this list changed a genre, inspired a legend, or survived something you will not believe. And yet radio forgot half of them, textbooks skipped them, and casual fans have never heard the real story behind the song they've hummed their whole life.
No one else can make me feel.
Welcome to R&B GROOVELore, where we don't just play the hits, we prove them. Stay to the end, because number 1 is one of the most quietly devastating true stories in the history of American music, and it's disguised as a disco song. Number 10, Chairman of the Board, Give Me Just a Little More Time, 1970. This song was built inside a lawsuit. Brian Holland, Lamont Dozier, and Eddie Holland, the songwriting trio who wrote nearly every big Motown hit of the 60s, had just walked out on Berry Gordy to start their own label, Invictus. They were legally barred from using their own names on new songs while the courts sorted it out, so they credited Give Me Just a Little More Time to a fictional writer, Edith Wayne. The lead voice belonged to General Johnson, a man whose first name wasn't a stage gimmick. General was literally what his parents named him. He'd already had one hit in the early 60s with a doo-wop group called The Showmen, faded into obscurity, and was given one more shot as the flagship act for his old boss's brand new company. That shot worked. The single hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold over 1 million copies, and went gold by May of 1970. It became the first hit ever released on Invictus Records, meaning an entire label's future was riding on 4 guys and a pseudonym. Johnson didn't stop there. He turned around and wrote Patches for Clarence Carter, which won a Grammy, and penned Want Ads for Honeycomb, a number 1 hit for someone else. The man behind the plea in the title track was Off the Clock, one of the most quietly prolific songwriters soul music ever produced. Number 9, Bloodstone, Natural High, 1973. 5 friends from a Kansas City high school formed a doo-wop group called the Sinceres in 1962 and spent the next decade getting nowhere. They moved to Las Vegas to play lounges, then to Los Angeles to learn actual instruments, and still, nobody in the American music industry would sign them. So they did something almost nobody in their position did. They packed up and flew to London, gambling everything on a country that had never heard of them. It worked. British producer Mike Vernon, known for his work with Fleetwood Mac, heard something in their sound and signed them to Decca. The song that changed everything was written by bassist Charles McCormick, and Natural High became the group's very first single to chart. And it didn't just chart, it cracked the top 10 on both the pop and R&B charts simultaneously in the summer of 1973. It sold over 1 million copies and earned a gold record within months. Tragedy shadowed the triumph. Founding member Roger Durham died of kidney and liver failure at just 27. The very same month the song was climbing the charts. Decades later, Quentin Tarantino would resurrect Natural High for the soundtrack of Jackie Brown, introducing the group to a generation that never knew their name. Number 8, Rolls-Royce, Car Wash, 1976. Before they were Rolls-Royce, they were a nameless backing band called Total Concept Unlimited. hired to tour behind Motown's Edwin Starr. That tour is where they met producer Norman Whitfield, the man who'd built the Temptations' psychedelic sound. And he saw something worth building on. A movie studio needed a soundtrack for a low-budget comedy about a Los Angeles car wash, and Whitfield got the job, except the film hadn't even finished being written yet. He had no theme song, no direction, and a deadline closing in fast.
Live and in full living color, more pleasure per pound.
Then, according to the group's own lead singer, Gwen Dickey, inspiration hit Whitfield while he was eating fried chicken and watching a basketball game, and he scribbled the entire hook straight onto the paper bag the chicken came in. Dickey later admitted the whole band thought the idea was ridiculous. "We are literally singing about a car wash," she remembers telling her bandmates.
Let me tell you, it's always cool.
Whitfield's answer was simple. "You won't be laughing when this is a hit." He was right. Car Wash hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold 2 million copies, won a Grammy for the soundtrack, and turned a struggling backup band into the voice of an entire era, all because of a fast food bag. Number 7. The Chai Lights. Have You Seen Her? 1971. Eugene Record wrote this song about the collapse of his marriage to his high school sweetheart, Sandra Scott, and then he almost didn't record it at all. At nearly 5 minutes long, it broke every rule of what a radio single was supposed to be in 1971. Record and co-writer Barbara Acklin borrowed a trick from Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul album, opening the song with a long spoken word passage instead of jumping straight into melody. It was a gamble that radio would never break format for a soul group from Chicago's Brunswick label.
Or something. Anything that you would sing.
Radio broke format. The song hit #3 on the pop charts and topped the R&B chart, going gold within months and becoming the group's signature record for the next 50 years. 8 different acts rushed out cover versions the moment it became clear this was a hit. Almost 2 decades later, rapper MC Hammer covered it on the album that made him a household name, sending Have You Seen Her back into the top 5 on both the pop and R&B charts all over again in 1990. Eugene Record, the songwriter behind it all, lived to see his Heartbreak become a hit, twice in 2 different generations. Number 6. Denise LaSalle, Trapped by a Thing Called Love, 1971. She picked cotton as a child in Mississippi. Her family were sharecroppers, and by 13 she'd moved to Chicago just to have a shot at something bigger. Nobody handed Denise LaSalle anything. She wrote her way out, one song at a time, starting as a barmaid who moonlighted as a songwriter. Her connection to Memphis came through family. Her brother's sister-in-law knew a singer who'd worked with legendary producer Willie Mitchell, the same man behind Al Green's biggest records. That family thread was enough to get LaSalle into Mitchell's studio, and what came out changed her life. Trapped by a Thing Called Love, written entirely by LaSalle herself, shot straight tone won on the R&B charts and climbed to number 13 pop in the fall of 1971, selling over 1 million copies. It arrived at the exact same moment Al Green's Tired of Being Alone was climbing those same charts, out of the very same Memphis sound. LaSalle kept writing, kept touring, and by the time she passed away in 2018, she'd earned a permanent title in the genre, the Queen of the Blues. A sharecropper's daughter from Mississippi ended up with a marker on the Mississippi Blues Trail and a seat in the Blues Hall of Fame.
Somebody tell me, what is this man?
Number 5. Minnie Riperton, Lovin' You, 1975.
It's out of loving you.
This song wasn't written for the radio. It was written as a lullaby, hummed by Minnie Riperton in her kitchen, to distract her 1-year-old daughter so she and her husband could get a moment of peace. Her husband, Richard Rudolph, heard the melody through the wall and knew instantly they had something.
Has made my life so beautiful.
That baby's name was Maya. And yes, that's Maya Rudolph, decades before Saturday Night Live made her a star. On the full album version, if you listen closely at the very end, you can hear Riperton gently chanting her daughter's name into the fade-out.
Loving you is easy.
Epic Records almost didn't release it. Executives told Riperton and Rudolph flat out that a song with no bass, no drums, and a black woman's voice hitting notes in the whistle register would never work on pop radio. They pushed back anyway, and the song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in April of 1975.
Loving you is
A year later, Riperton was diagnosed with breast cancer and became one of the first major celebrities to speak about it publicly, later receiving the American Cancer Society's Courage Award from President Jimmy Carter himself. She died in 1979 at just 31, but the lullaby she hummed to quiet a fussy toddler is still one of the most sampled vocal performances in modern music.
no one.
Number 4. Ann Peebles, I Can't Stand the Rain, 1973. This is a song that exists because of bad weather and worse timing. Ann Peebles, her partner Don Bryant, and a DJ friend were getting ready to leave for a concert in Memphis one evening in 1973 when the sky opened up. Peebles snapped the title line out loud, purely out of annoyance. She just wanted to go out.
It's my window.
Bryant, a professional songwriter for High Records, recognized a hook the second he heard it. They skipped the concert entirely, sat down right there, and wrote the entire song from scratch before the night was over. It was recorded at Royal Studios, the same converted Memphis movie theater where Al Green cut his biggest hits, with the same producer, Willie Mitchell, and largely the same session musicians. The song reached #6 on the R&B chart and became Peebles' only pop crossover hit, but its influence outran its chart position by decades. John Lennon publicly called it the best song ever recorded. Missy Elliott sampled its opening riff for The Rain, Supa Dupa Fly, in 1997, introducing Peebles to an entire hip-hop generation. A European disco cover by the group Eruption later hit #1 in multiple countries, all traced back to one woman complaining about the weather.
Bringing back sweet.
Number 3. Betty Wright, Clean Up Woman, 1971. Betty Wright was singing professionally before she could read, literally. She joined her family's gospel group at 2 years old and had her first hit single crossing over to the pop charts at 14. By the time Clean Up Woman came out, she wasn't some overnight discovery. She'd already been a working singer for over a decade, and she was still only 17. The song was written by Miami duo Clarence Reid and Willie Clark, originally intended for a male singer as Clean Up Man, until they heard Wright's voice and rewrote it completely around her. That opening guitar riff, one of the most recognizable in R&B history, was played by Willie Little Beaver Hale. Clean Up Woman hit #6 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold over 2 million copies, and helped define what the music industry would come to call the Miami sound. Betty Wright became one of the only high school students in America to turn 18 with a million-selling record already behind her. Decades later, her voice would resurface everywhere, sampled by Beyoncé, Mary J. Blige, and Chance the Rapper, and at least 30 other tracks beyond that. In 2021, a year after her passing, Clean Up Woman was formally inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, cementing a song written by a teenager as a permanent piece of American musical history. Number 1. Candi Staton, Young Hearts Run Free, 1976. This song sounds like freedom. It plays at weddings, It soundtracks movie trailers. It's been sampled and covered for 50 years as a pure, uplifting disco anthem. For decades, almost nobody outside Candi Staton's inner circle knew what actually inspired it. Staton was on tour opening for Ray Charles in Las Vegas when her then-husband, a man she later described plainly as abusive and controlling, discovered she'd sat in the audience to watch Ray Charles's set instead of staying by his side. According to Staton's own account, given decades later in the PBS documentary Disco, Soundtrack of a Revolution, that was the night everything turned violent. He forced her through the hotel lobby and up to their room on the 20th plus floor. He told her, in her words, that he was going to kill her that night, then pulled a gun and pointed it directly at her. Staton has said she was so exhausted by fear that she simply laid down on the bed and told him to go ahead. She fell asleep. He didn't pull the trigger. She survived that night and eventually escaped the marriage, and confided every detail to a songwriter friend, David Crawford, who quietly took notes for months before telling her, "I'm going to write you a song that's going to set you free." The result hit #1 on the Soul chart and #20 on the Hot 100 in 1976, a song about survival that the entire world mistook for a party record.
Don't love you.
Staton later admitted the irony haunted her. She wrote a song telling other women to run from danger and stayed in her own dangerous marriage a while longer anyway. Nearly 50 years later, Young Hearts Run Free has been embraced as an anthem for anyone fighting to break free of a life someone else built for them. Proof that the most joyful sounding record on this entire list came from one of its darkest true stories.